Alright, so now I'm going to show you some basic editing techniques, okay? These are the very basics, the foundation of everything you're going to start with. Alright, so you'll remember that this is called our current time indicator. When we move our current time indicator by grabbing the little blue handle and moving it across, it's called scrubbing, okay? When we scrub through a video. Now you can see up here, this is where all of the action is going on, where I can actually see what I'm scrubbing through. Alright, so we're going to look at how we can edit some of our clips, because remember, we don't want to have long clips where we're just sitting and watching the same thing over and over, and we don't want to have the boring things. Alright, so there's a few different ways you can do this, and I'm going to start with what I think is the most straightforward. So as you move your current time indicator through here, you do get a live update of where it is falling within the clip, so I can see what's going on. Okay, so this is pretty fun from the beginning. There is a little bit of time right here when he's just kind of waiting around, and I can get rid of that because that's not the most exciting thing. So I'm going to take that right to about here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over, make sure that I have my little black arrow, the selection tool, selected, and I do. Okay, I'm going to come down here, and do you see how this has turned into a little bracket that's facing towards the right hand side? Okay, I am going to click left click, and I'm going to drag that in, and what I'm doing is I'm basically erasing that footage right there. Okay, I'm clipping off the beginning of that footage. So now if I go to the beginning of my video and press play, or to press the space bar, I have those couple seconds of nothing, and then I see Darcy playing in the water. Okay, so it's probably not a good thing to have a whole entire big blank space. So what you're going to do is you are going to go into that blank space, and you're going to right click in that blank space. Okay, and this option comes up called Ripple Delete. Ripple Delete basically gets rid of all of that empty space in between your clips. Okay, so I'm going to click it, yes, and look, it's gotten rid of it. So as we go right back to the beginning of the video again and press spacebar to see what it looks like, we start right away. Okay, so he's jumping around, having a good time. Right, still this is a really long clip, and I don't want it to be quite that long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press spacebar again, and I'm going to scrub through and decide what I want to take off of the end. Okay, a little bit boring back there. He's not even jumping around in the water. Okay, so I will go right back to here. That's kind of boring. And he goes off camera here, so how about we end right here? Okay, so now I'm going to grab my bracket. Now notice right now it's facing the left again, or facing the right again. Okay, we want to make sure that it's facing the left because we're taking it in from the left, we're cropping it in. Okay, so pull it all the way in. We're going to get rid of all of that footage so it's nice and short. Okay, and it's going to snap right to the current time indicator. Okay, now what are we going to do with this again? It's a huge space. That's right, we are going to right click and Ripple Delete. Alright, so now my video only has a very short clip at the beginning of Darcy playing in the water. So I'm going to press spacebar. Okay, and then we move right on to the next video. So press spacebar. Okay, so we can do the same thing here with editing, except we're going to do it a little bit differently with this particular one. Alright, now we are going to, this is, which video is this? This is 1955, so it's right here. So we can do this a couple of ways. We can double click up here so that we get the video here, or we can just double click here. and that'll give us the video up in this screen. Okay, this sequence screen, this source screen, oh, it just auto-saved, that's good. The source screen will help us see what we are doing with each individual clip rather than the whole entire video as a whole. So what we can do here is we can, because this is highlighted in yellow, when I press spacebar, it's going to play. Okay? So that's cute at the beginning, but maybe not so much at the end. Okay? So I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to figure out where I want it to begin and end. So this is the set in point. This is where you want your clip to start. This here is the set out point, where you want your clip to end. So I'm going to move my little current time indicator all the way back here. Okay, and I'm going to create my set out point, or sorry, set in point right here. Okay, press play or spacebar. Oops, let me try that again. Okay, so take it back up to the front, and I'm going to get my set in point right there. Press play, press my set in. Okay, get a little shot of him looking back. And then that's my set out point. Alright. So you can see that in the space of that whole entire clip, I'm only picking this section right here. Alright? And you'll see down here that it's actually made it smaller for us already. Okay? So let's see what that looks like. We press play again. Because we're back in here, when we press play, this will play. Okay, and I decide that I want to take it a little bit more in from this side. It's not quite enough, so I'm going to pull that time indicator back, listen to my audio, and get it right to that fuzzy point, and then I'll just pull it in and edit it. Okay, right click, ripple delete, and now I'm getting closer to having all of the best parts of my video going together. I'll play it one more time. Okay, so now we got all the action shots rather than just sitting around and looking at one thing going on. Okay, you also notice that every time we change these audio files, we'll just do whatever we're doing up there. So that's also important to remember. Whenever we are moving things around, oops, I don't want to do that. When we're moving things around, you'll see a black line that looks very much like this red line. It's called a snap line. It's going to snap your work to important parts. So you notice there's a gap right here. Okay, so if I take this and I move it over, do you see that black line? It snaps right to the key point, right to the end. So when I play this now, there's no longer a gap right in between those two videos. It goes smoothly right from one to the next. Okay? Alright, so again we've got this gap here, so we can just keep snapping everything over, or we can get right in the gap there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so that that gap's a little bit bigger. Again, ripple delete. Okay, and now the whole thing is nice and smooth. Let me see if I've forgotten anything else. You don't want to have any gaps in between, so you always make sure that they're snapping right below. Make sure you're having the most important part of your footage in the clips. So cut out the things before and after. Oftentimes when you're filming, it's a good idea to roll the camera and then yell action, so that you have that little bit of time on either end that you can crop out if it's not really what you want.